What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Jon Jones wants to fight Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones continues to be accused of ducking Tom Aspinall, but following UFC 313, Dana White insisted that Bones wants to face the rising star. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Throughout much of 2024, Jones repeatedly shot down the idea that he should fight Aspinall, as according to him, the matchup doesn't do anything for his legacy. Following UFC 309, the controversial fighter did say he would throw hands with Aspinall if the UFC paid him handsomely for this fight. Well, more recently, Aspinall reported that the reason the fight has yet to be signed is because Jones and his camp are holding it up. So following UFC 313, White was asked about Aspinall's comments, and the UFC CEO said that Bones is down for the fight.
Listen, Jon Jones definitely wants to fight, just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon
I'm very
in
confident
summer on first day.
that fight happens, yeah.
Summer?
Yeah.
Awesome.
As you saw, White also acknowledged that the UFC is hoping to book the fight for this summer, so given the promotion historically has held massive cards during International Fight Week, one would think that's the target here. UFC 317 is expected to take place on June 28th in Las Vegas during that week. But what do you make of White's comments? Do you think it's all but a certainty now that we'll see Jones and Aspinall battle? Or do you think, I'll believe it when I see it? All that aside, following Magomed Ankalaev's championship win on Saturday, he was asked how he thinks he would have done against Jon Jones during his run at 205. The new champion believes he could have handed Bones his first legitimate defeat.
I think I could back then in the time if I was at the same time fighting as Jon Jones was. I don't see why not.
Some might view that as a pretty bold statement, given Jones was at his peak powers throughout much of his light heavyweight reign. But what do you think? Could Ankalaev beat a prime version of Jones at 205? Alex Pereira's ex-girlfriend went off after his loss at UFC 313. She posted a video to social media tagging Magomed Ankalaev and said,
"We have a new light heavyweight champion. No more Shama, Kama." So, he lost at the International Women's Day. Maybe that's a sign, guys. I don't know. New light heavyweight champion Ankalaev. Congrats. He did a really good job. If you guys are talking robbery, you don't understand anything from MMA. So let's not talk about robbery. That's completely BS. This guy won, and actually, he got this title shot very, very late, right? So I think we should give him some props. Even if we don't like him or we don't like his fighting style, we should give him some props. No more Shama.
Alex Pereira fired back at his ex-girlfriend by writing, "I think she should stop mentioning my name because her husband might get jealous, Shama." Alex's ex is known for shading him whenever she gets the chance. She also posted a comment under a picture of Alex and Chris Brown months ago, writing, "Only missing Jon Jones in this pic and the trio is perfect." Merab gets upset, asking him to sign a picture of him getting knocked out. Here's the clip.
Yo, bro, I want to ask you if you can sign this, bro. Can you sign this, bro?
We're just gonna do one, brother.
Can you sign, bro? Yeah, it's just that, bro. It's just that.
Why that one? That's what
I know, bro. What? It's a defining moment, bro.
No, not this one.
I'm from Oregon, bro. It's a defining moment. It's just pictures, bro.
No,
it's just pictures, bro.
No, not those
it's
ones.
Pictures, bro.
Not those ones.
All right.
No, not that.
All right, it's all good. It's all good. Umar beat you, bro. Umar beat you next time, bro.
Tom Aspinall reacts to Alex Pereira versus Magomed. Not everyone agrees with how the judges scored Saturday's headliner between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, and some have argued Poatan was robbed. But it looks like Tom Aspinall has no issues with how the fight was scored. Following the bout, two of the judges scored it for Ankalaev 48-47, and the other judge had it 49-46, handing the Russian fighter the light heavyweight throne. Aspinall was streaming while watching the fight, and when Ankalaev stunned Poatan badly in the second round, the heavyweight said this, "Rocket him. Mate, he's lucky he didn't get knocked out there. If that was me, he would have been snoozing." And in terms of the fight, Aspinall thought there was no doubt Ankalaev took it. I'm not a judge, so put that on record, but I think 3-2 for Ankalaev. Comfortably, maybe 4-1 for Ankalaev. I think Pereira may have took the first. Adesanya reacted to Alex Pereira's loss at UFC 313. Here's what he had to say.
He's winning this round. He won this round. Pereira won. I think it's that still. Wow. Round 2 might have played a factor just because he dropped him. I think he'll get a rematch.
If Pereira had defeated Ankalaev, then talk about him fighting Jones next would have sparked. But as Aspinall acknowledged, Poatan fighting Bones next is really a non-starter. Further, Aspinall also echoed what White said after UFC 313. The promotion is waiting on Jon Jones to agree on a location and date for their bout.
That's off the table now. The Alex Pereira fight at heavyweight or any other weight, really. Yeah, John. There's only one way. There's only one thing to do, mate. Sign the contract and let's get a date going. And I know we seen last night Dana White was talking. Everything is now done on John's side, and the UFC now have to find a date and a venue, a place. So we're waiting for that. We've got some good news coming soon, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully we do learn soon when Jones and Aspinall will scrap to unify the UFC's heavyweight titles. And speaking of Pereira and Ankalaev, following their bout, both men shared out statements via their social media. Pereira assured his fans that he's doing fine and he'll be back better than ever.
Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, com alegria. Bem machucado aqui, mas isso aqui é artificial. Já a gente dá conta. Como, Brilhão?
Aquele jeito, né? Porque vamos voltar mais forte. É isso aí. Isso aí vai fazer o nosso time crescer.
Chama.
Tá entendendo? Chama. Chama. Chama.
É, galera toda aí.
Chama, bebê. Sai, meu bebê.
Bora pra casa descansar. Chama.
The new champion, meanwhile, told the UFC brass that he's going to try his best to be a dominant, finishing champ. I want to thank Dana White and Mick Maynard keeping the word to me, Abu Dhabi. I will do everything I can to be a great champion. My #1 goal to finish all my opponent and make it look easy. Do you see Ankalaev holding the title for a while, or do you think Pereira will reclaim the belt and what looks like will be an immediate rematch? Footage emerges of Dana White talking about UFC return to Russia. Due to well-documented reasons and complications, the UFC hasn't held a card in Russia in years, but new footage has been shared out which shows Dana White telling someone the UFC does intend to return to Russia for a card. The UFC hasn't held a card in Russia since back in 2019, but on account of how many fighters on the promotion's roster are from Russia, and how popular mixed martial arts is in the country, for years people have wondered if the UFC could return to Russia. Well, as you can see by watching the following clip, White told someone at UFC 313 that if the new US administration makes it possible, the UFC will head back to Russia.
What did you expect coming in here tonight?
What do you make of White's comments? And do you see the UFC holding a card in Russia, say later in 2025 or in 2026? If you need a refresher, the last time the UFC held a card in Russia was in November 2019. In the main event, Zabit Magomed outscored Calvin Kattar for the decision win. At the time, no one would have predicted it would mark the last and final time Magomed would compete. Zabit was widely considered to be one of the fastest rising commodities in the game and a possible future champion at 145. ESPN compensates customers for UFC 313 issues. One of the negative storylines emerging out of UFC 313 was that a lot of ESPN subscribers were unable to watch the pay-per-view. According to reports, a lot of folks had issues streaming the pay-per-view via ESPN Plus, and so the internet was lit up with complaints. Dana White acknowledged after the card that he had heard about the problems, and not surprisingly, he didn't sound too happy about it. Yeah, there were problems buying the pay-per-view on ESPN Plus. I don't know what happened with their platform tonight, but yeah, there are a lot of pissed off people. As a result of the technical issues and the tidal wave of complaints, ESPN ultimately provided the card later for free. MMA pundit Luke Thomas had this to say about the development via social media. I was going to buy the UFC 313 pay-per-view this morning on ESPN Plus because A, I need it for work. B, figured by now they might have ironed out the issue. To my surprise, it was free. There was no charge. It opened right up, and I watched the entire thing. Did anyone else experience this? Yeah, there it is. They're giving it away for free, basically. Wow. While that obviously sucks for people who wanted to catch the main card live, better late than never, right? Did you encounter any problems watching the pay-per-view stream? Curtis Blaydes breaks silence on last-minute withdrawal. UFC 313 lost a compelling heavyweight scrap only hours before the event, as contender Curtis Blaydes had to withdraw due to illness. The powerful wrestler was booked to fight UFC newcomer Rizvan Kunev on the prelims before it was announced that the bout had been punted from the card. Blaydes proceeded to provide more details about his withdrawal via social media, and he also said that the fight will be rebooked. So that's a tough break for Blaydes, who hasn't fought since last July when he was quickly taken out by Tom Aspinall. Blaydes has gone 3-2 in his last 5 fights and is currently ranked number 5 in the heavyweight division. This now marks the 3rd time Kunev has had his UFC debut cancelled. The Russian heavyweight earned a UFC contract last summer by stopping Hugo Cunha during that season of Dana White's Contender Series. Hopefully, the fight can get added to one of the promotion's upcoming cards, and nothing scratches the bout this time. King Green breaks silence on UFC loss. Although King Green suffered a nasty look-away kids knockout at UFC 313, the fan favorites reporting he'll be back. Green faced rising lightweight Mauricio Rufy at the main event, and not long into the fight, he was sent crashing to the deck via a jaw-dropping spinning wheel kick. Following the highlight reel loss, Green posted this video statement.
"This is the game we play. There's wins, there's losses. This is how it goes, you know? Shout out to Rufy. You did your thing, brother. I'd like to see you have success in your future. Obrigado. And shout out to everybody that rocked with me and came through this whole thing, man. I love all you guys. I thank you so much for supporting me through all this. But we're not done, you know? Felt like I just need some more time to get myself back used to being in the cage. We'll be back. I promise you that."
It goes without saying that Green's fans will be happy to hear he's not planning to hang up the gloves just yet. But you have to wonder if calls for him to retire will get louder if he doesn't win his next fight. The unorthodox 38-year-old veteran has dropped 3 of his last 4 bouts, and Green's been KO'd in 2 of these. UFC fighter reveals retirement after loss. It wasn't that long ago that Jalen Turner was widely viewed as a promising up-and-comer in the UFC's lightweight division. But following his loss at UFC 313, Turner shocked everyone by reporting he's likely done fighting. Turner faced the fast-rising Ignacio Bahamondes at the event and was ensnared with a fight-ending triangle choke in round 1. As Turner was exiting the cage, he was filmed telling the media he's probably hanging up the gloves. Then, while talking with Sportsnet's Aaron Bronstetter, Turner also confirmed that he's likely walking away from fighting. "I felt like I'd get the nod, get the win. I watched him. He's an up-and-coming prospect. He deserved the opportunity. And I felt like I would have gotten my hand raised and didn't. I know it's emotional right now, but I've been thinking about this for the last 11 months. If I'm going to keep fighting or not. I was bad on signing the fight contract because I didn't know if I was going to retire or not. I didn't know how much longer I wanted to keep doing this." Turner also acknowledged that his physical health and how important that is to maintain as a father is why he's probably done. "Now my kids are getting older. I don't want to keep taking damage. Training camps are hard. Life is really taking a toll. It's been taking a toll the last 11 months, so I just need to step away for a little bit. I mean, maybe forever. At this point, the competition just gets better. I'm just getting older. So yeah, I'm going to just sit down and think about it, you know? But I think that's it." While this was Turner's 4th loss in his last 5 fights, it is surprising to hear this. Turner is only 29, and his recent losses have come against top-tier competition in the likes of Mateusz Gamrot, Dan Hooker, Renato Moicano, and now Bahamondes. Speaking of Bahamondes, while talking to the media afterward, he pleaded with Turner to keep fighting. He even offered to train with him and give him a place to stay while he does, which is pretty classy of him.
Yeah, I told him don't do that. I tell him don't do that. Come on, if you need help, if you need something, I'm here. If you need to come back to come to Chicago and train some, just to love it again. I told him he could stay in my house, no problem. Like I'm open to help him. Our team is open to help him, and I just told him to go back home, just thinking about it, but please don't do it. He just he pushed me to my best and made me so better, and he still got a lot more to give to this sport.
What do you make of this? Should Turner keep fighting? Nina Drama fires back at UFC fighter. And before we continue, we have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day. Diana Belbita jokingly posted saying that there's a new curse in the MMA community with Nina, given that she's around everyone who loses or has bad luck. Nina disagreed and fired back at Diana, writing, "I respect you as a fighter, so I won't say anything bad. How am I a curse when I filmed as many videos with Alex as I did with Ankalaev? Please elaborate. You should focus more on training and less on tweeting negativity. Focus on your fight with Dayan Barboza. You have a tough challenge ahead. Wish you the best.